Hello and welcome to Folsom Field. I am Matt Smith for 5280 Sports Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. Well, Colorado's Pac-12 South champs, they're gonna go to Santa Clara next week to compete for a Pac-12 Championship against the Washington Huskies. CU beats Utah tonight in the 2016 regular season finale. Colorado undefeated at home this season, 6-0 at home. They take down the Utes 27-22. It was a very tight ball game in that first half. In fact, Colorado did not come out and play extremely well right out of the gate. They weren't sharp, and this Utah team was every bit what we thought they would be, especially on the defensive side of the football. That front seven is no joke. Hunter Dimmick, one of their senior defensive ends, leads the entire country in sacks, had another one tonight, and they were providing good pressure all night long on this Colorado offense, who could not really run the football. Speaking to Sefo Liufau and Mike McIntyre after the game tonight, in-game adjustments were made, and Philip Lindsay, Colorado's catalyst on the offensive end for the better part of the last month, to be quite honest, only 12 carries, 55 yards tonight. Sefo saying that there were some different things that Utah came out and did that really limited the Buffs and forced them to adjust mid-game. McIntyre saying that Utah came out in some bare sets on defense and forced the Buffaloes to reevaluate the way that they were going to attack Utah. But it was pretty clear from right out of the gate, Colorado was not afraid of this Utah team, constantly stretching the ball down the field, taking deep shots, and the Buffaloes did what they had to tonight, and that was their number one priority. And that was slowing down Joe Williams. The senior running back from the Utes, who averages 155 yards a game on the ground tonight, was held to just 100 yards on the ground. But really, this Buffaloes team limited any big plays that the Utah rushing attack had whatsoever, and Colorado, behind a stout defensive performance in that second half, came out victorious once again. This is a Buffaloes team that has now beaten back-to-back ranked opponents, and they hadn't beaten a ranked opponent since 2009 until they did it last week. Now they've got 2 in 2 weeks and are going to Santa Clara to play in a top 10 matchup, presumably. Colorado will most likely move up in the college football playoff poll, and UW may as well. Michigan losing to Ohio State today. We'll see how that shakes out. UW may be in the top 4 next week, and the Buffaloes have a very good chance to go win the Pac-12 title against a very good football team in Washington. But Sefo Liufau and this senior class really gave these fans something to remember tonight. It was the first sellout in 8 years at Folsom Field. Chidobe Awuzie, Tedrick Thompson, Jimmy Gilbert, Josh Tupou, Sefo Liufau. A lot of these guys, this is the last time they're ever going to play on this field right here, and they left their mark. Colorado 10-2 on the season, 8-1 in conference play, an extremely impressive resume and a very impressive performance. And Coach McIntyre, after the game, really struggling to find words, because it's tough to put this one into words. It just is. It's tough to really explain what has transpired here at the University of Colorado in the last several years. Mike McIntyre and his staff have done a tremendous job with these guys, and you have to remember now, these are the same players that were getting their teeth kicked in the last 2-3 years. This is a team that went worst to first in the Pac-12. It is the biggest turnaround in Pac-12 history. This is a program that has really now just embarked on a new era. The brand new facilities all around me here, the recruiting has ticked up, and now with a chance to go compete for a Pac-12 title, this is a Colorado team that has everything that they've really ever wanted in front of them. They've talked about at the beginning of the year, okay, we're competing for a Pac-12 championship. Well, they're about to go get a chance to do that this weekend, and it's going to be very fun. I will be in Santa Clara next week, so make sure you tune into the 5280 Sports Network for all your Buffs coverage. It's going to be a big week for Colorado, coming off, of course, a short week for them. Washington and Washington State played last night in the Apple Cup, but Mike McIntyre in the post-game press conference saying that this team has already broken down every one of Washington's football games. Of course, it was kind of a luxury for the Buffaloes. They knew a few weeks ago, for the most part, who would be competing for a Pac-12 championship, representing the Pac-12 North, and of course, Colorado now the Pac-12 South champs. Tonight, the Buffaloes win again. Sefo Liufau, 23 of 44, 270 yards, through the air, including a passing touchdown. Now, with that passing touchdown, Cepho ties Cody Hawkins' all-time school record for career touchdown passes with 60. He now owns or shares, I believe, 86 school records, with a few more in reach when his career is actually over. So you're talking about nearly 100 school records for Cepho. Again, like we talked about, Lindsey, a smaller night, but what he did that you're not going to find in a box score was extremely impressive. The blitz pickups that Phil Lindsey had tonight were very special and are going to make a highlight reel, especially for that team for sure. The kid is exactly what you need out of a team leader, and so is Cepho Lufau, who, as tails never fails, the Buffs have won another coin toss. Now, of course, the season 10-2, they are 11-1 in the coin toss this year, and they have deferred every time, allowing their defense to come out and then their defense to come out first, I should say, and set the tone, and then their offense to respond. Now, Colorado didn't do an outstanding job rushing the football tonight, but it is something that Mike McIntyre said it's something they will work on in practice this week as they prepare for Washington next week. It's a huge win for Colorado, not only for recruiting and for the program and for everything, but for the guys in that locker room who held the belief all season long that they could get it done when no one else did. They just gained a great sense of accomplishment and pride within themselves. But as McIntyre said, there's probably going to be some sleepless nights tonight among that team, but it's back to business tomorrow as they have a Washington Huskies team to prepare for. Hopefully this Colorado defense can continue their level of play that they have really accumulated all season long. The number one Pac-12, the number one defense of Pac-12, I should say. That's what you really like about the matchup heading into UW. What gives the Buffs a great chance is that defense travels. Bad weather, good weather, doesn't really matter. Your offense is clicking or not, your defense should travel. And this Buffs team has proved that they're going to go out and compete on every play of every game. And Colorado's defense tonight was spectacular. 8 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, nearly 3. Tedrick Thompson actually had 2 interceptions tonight and now has 7 on the season. He ties a school record for interceptions in a season with 7. 2 forced fumbles that were gigantic tonight. Ryan Moeller stripping Joe Williams there, recovered by Awuzie, a big play in that third quarter. And then, of course, a huge strip from Rick Gamboa leading to a Kenneth Olugbode scoop and score inside Utah's own 20-yard line that would essentially give the Buffs some cushion, put them up 27-16, and Colorado would never really look back. Utah did get into the end zone there at the end of the game as Colorado kind of let them go down the field, a little bit more of a prevent defense, and that is why the score was closer than this game actually was in that second half. But a huge performance from Colorado. Special teams was a big factor tonight. Utah with a 55-yard punt return touchdown right out of the gate really kind of woke up this Colorado team. Special teams has been an area of concern all season long, and it was again tonight, but Colorado did a good job of shoring most of that up in the second half. And then the play of the game, without question, Colorado is up 20-13 at the end of the third quarter. Final play of the third quarter, Cepho hit Shea Fields with a touchdown in the back of the end zone, the fade route to the back pylon. Well, the next play, a 93-yard kick return, which would have been a touchdown, was stopped because of senior cornerback Chidobe Awuzie's outstanding individual effort to track down the kick returner and actually just barely get him out of bounds at the 3-yard line, where Colorado would go on once again to hold Utah to a field goal. The defense was stout tonight, extremely impressive. Only allowed Utah 6 of 21 on third downs. It was a really, really good showing from Colorado's defensive unit. And under Jim Leavitt and Joe Tumpkin and this coaching staff, I should say, Colorado has now extended their nation's longest streak of forcing a takeaway to 25 games. This is a Buffs team that has accomplished quite a bit this season and has a lot more to go. And with a win next week, in my eyes, has as good of a case as any 2-loss team in the country to make it into the college football playoff. But that's a little ways down the road. Of course, the college football playoff getting underway January 9th in Tampa, Florida. But the Buffaloes, a big game next week against the Huskies for the Pac-12 title. Nobody thought that the team that played on this field was going to be able to compete for a Pac-12 championship, and they will get that opportunity this year. As always, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you go online to 5280sportsnetwork.com, check out our family of podcasts, and stay up to date with No Bull, Just Buffs coming out in a few days here as Colorado has got to prepare for a Pac-12 championship game. I'm Matt Smith. Follow along on Twitter at @RealMattSmith. That's Matt with one T, and at 5280 Sportsnet. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us.